4 years is going to be really tough. And I'm sure you'll do what you did in 2016 and do it again. Yeah? Thank you. Another one for Sarah. And of course, my dear sister Yasmin Trudeau, we talk all the time. I haven't bugged her so much now because she's, as Sarah said, she's like capital budgets, like you don't talk to capital budget people. So we talked a lot.
You get the punishment if you do.
Yeah, no capital punishments for me. Yeah, so Senator Yasmin Trudeau has been around, she's representing the 27th district. Tacoma, part of Tacoma, we're in her hometown. As soon as we found out that it's going to be in Tacoma, I sent her a message saying, you better come and speak, please. And she accepted immediately. I mean, how often do you get to have, speaking of firsts, how often do you have an inaugural Muslim caucus in the state of Washington? And we have our chair, Chastity Conrad, just walk in, and she's trying to. So I'll give her, give me
Yes.
a minute, and we'll talk. So, Senator Trudeau, please give her a round of applause.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. Brother Rami's really gracious. We definitely still text pretty regularly. I really also am very appreciative to be here. I live about 10 minutes away from here, but I agreed to be at a retreat for women of color in the legislature, so I actually had to drive a little bit further. But anyone that knows me knows if you expect me to show up somewhere on my off time, it will always be with my family. So you get me as Senator Mommy, not as Senator Trudeau. Thank you, and I also know that, you know, in a room where there's probably some solid aunties, it's a good bet to bring your daughter. But, you know, I will just offer into this space. It has always been a little bit, I've always been a little bit self-conscious of representing myself as part of the community, and not because there's any shame involved, absolutely not. I am very proud of my Muslim heritage, of my Muslim faith, and of the things, the principles that drive the work that I do. And I see those as tied together. But I come from a family that is not as traditional as many. And so that space, you know, I never really knew. And if you'll excuse me, I just want to be vulnerable in this space because this is our first time all gathering, and I hope that we'll have many more, is what it means to be inclusive within our communities. And so in some ways, I've kind of infiltrated the politics. Now, again, being very clear and very open about my identity, but often not knowing if I'm fully representing everyone in our community. And then I realized that our community is not a monolith, and I don't want to feed into that either, because actually we represent over 1 billion people around the world. And so that diversity is also inherent in who we are. But as I've infiltrated, one of the things that I realized, and that my sister Sahar mentioned, is I looked around and I said, it is not enough to be the first. And so for me, I've always been on a mission about who I can support. My sister Nilu, I endorsed you when you ran. Thank you for running. I did. The real senator is going to walk up, so I'm going to be beholden by how much time she tells me. This is Madam Chair right here. And when I was at the AG's office, you know, I was like, gosh, we need a policy director. Okay, well, I know someone. She's smart, she's intelligent, she understands the complexities and the significance of our community and the issues that impact us. And so I got her to come over and infiltrate with me. And as a policy director, she, at the AG's office, hired multiple Muslim women, in fact, to work there. And even created a space for all of us to connect. And especially over this last year, those connections were very vital. They were vital to our survival and to our mental health. And so I just want to thank her. And then when I found out that our brother Osman was running, I said, where do you need me? Where can I go? And showed up at the county council. This isn't to praise me, but to show how when we are in solidarity and we take the opportunity to show up for one another and bring each other into the spaces, that actually we are, maybe it's selfish, we are both protecting ourselves in some ways, but also making sure that the diversity of our community and the voices that represent it are in every space that we could possibly be. And that's why when Brother Rami I realized the date. I said, oh my gosh, I'm at this other retreat, my family, my husband and my son, I've got to figure out the logistics. But it was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer. And so I'm here as somebody who actually has never really engaged the Democratic Party or the state party. I sort of infiltrated by who I worked for and the jobs that I did. And so this is a first for me as well, because I've not necessarily felt that the state party was a place that was always welcoming. Certainly over the last year, and I do think, our Chair Shasti, I know it's been a really difficult job to navigate some of these dynamics, and so I do appreciate that, but it has felt really alienating. And I don't need to make contact with every person in this room, you felt it too. So I want to end by just saying thank you. If you have children between the ages of 14 and 17, send them to me. We should get them to Paige. If you want to know more about that, that's actually where a lot of people in Olympia start. And so it's really important that our children, if you live in Olympia or know a Muslim family in Olympia that's willing to be a Paige host, that's also really incredible, because we all know that maybe we have fears about sending our children away to a different home, especially at these times, and what they might hear or see. So I would say that, both for families and for children, please let me know, reach out. We have an internship program. If anybody in here has college-aged kids, please have them reach out. We have an internship program that is often the way that people become staff, become lobbyists, and the infrastructure of Olympia is really built by our interns, who often start as pages. And then I would welcome the rest of you. If there's anybody even remotely interested in politics or the legislature, please email me and I will find a place to send them or someone to connect them to. And then lastly, I'm going to pass it on to my brother Osman, who now gets to run companion bills with me, which is really fun. This year we will pass a bill recognizing Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr for the first time in Washington State. We don't know whose bill it's going to be, but I hope it's yours. And we're also going to end up doing a resolution again from the first time, from my first legislative session a few years ago. We did run a resolution recognizing the holy month of Ramadan, and we will do that again. And I invite you please to come down, reach out to my office if I don't have your information. We'll be hosting a reception, because now we have bicameral celebration. So I just welcome you all. Please just don't hesitate to reach out. If there's anything you want to know, like, what the heck is a capital budget? No question too small, but my role here is to provide information and space for all of us to enter into the halls of power, whatever that means. So just thank you all for being here and taking the time to indulge me, and I will get back to being mommy first. So I'm like,